Let's work with multiplying larger numbers. When we're multiplying larger numbers, it'll help to know your basic math facts. So we had 7 times 6 equaling 42. Now if we had 7 tens times 6, we would end up with 42 tens. And then so the way we write 42 tens is like that there. Now if we did this 7 here is now worth what? Right, 700. It's in the hundreds place. So we have 700 times 6. If we're talking about 700 times 6, then we're still talking about 7 times 6, which is 42, that basic fact. But we were talking about hundreds, because that 7 was worth 700. It was in the hundreds place. So that's 4200, which is, we put 2 more zeros there so that we have that number 4200. Now don't let me trick you. What are we talking about now? 70,000 times 6, we're talking about 7 10,000s. 7 times 6 is 42, and then if we have 42 10,000s, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add those zeros in there, because we wanted those into those 10,000 place. And then so we need 1 more zero there. 1, 2, 3, comma, 420,000. 80 times 10, what we do is we write 8 times 1 first, and our answer to 8 times 1 first, which is an 8. And then since we were talking about here, we're talking about tens times 10, okay, that's 2 more zeros, times 10 times 10, 8 times 10 times 10, which is 80, times 10 more is 800. We have 3 times 40. We'll start with that basic fact, 3 times 4, which is 12. And since we were talking about 4 tens, we have to add that 0 there. 8 times 200. What basic fact is going to help us? Right, 8 times 2, which is 16. And since we were talking about 200s, our answer is also going to be in the hundreds right there. The way that helps us going forward is this. And then so I've written down 2 other examples for us. We've got 31 times 20. It's not really a basic fact anymore, but we do have 31 times 2, and I know the answer to 31 times 2 is, right, 62. And then since I was multiplying by 2 tens, I'm going to put 1 0 there. So 31 times 20 is 620. Now if I had 22 times 30, and again, I'm talking about the tens place here in this number here. That's why I add the 0 right there. And then I have to just go 22 times 3. Oh, I know my single-digit multiplication. I know how to do 22 times 3. I also could have done this in my head, but I wanted to show you this here. So 22 times 3 is 66, whereas 22 times 30 is 660. So we have a couple more problems for you. We've got 37 times 20, 53 times 40. If you want to give these 2 a try on your own, you're welcome to. I'll walk you through those steps. Again, we're going to place a 0 right away because we're talking about the tens place there and 2 20s. 2 times 37, oh, I know 37 doubled is 74. That's why 37 times 20 is 740. 53 times 40, we're talking about multiplying by 4 tens again, and that's why we'll put a 0 here. And then all we have to do now is figure out what 53 times 4 is. Maybe you had to rewrite it like this yourself, if you had paused the video and looked at it yourself. 4 times 3 is 12, 2 regroup the 1. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. And then we just write that number right there. We already know that 53 times 4 is 212, so 53 times 40 is 2,120. Alright, it's quiz time. Copy these problems down and see if you can come up with those answers on your own. Hit pause in the video, please. There's that first answer there. Our second problem was back to the beginning of the video where we had 8 times 3 as our basic fact, and since we were talking about thousands, we had to place 3 zeros. Did you get that same answer, 1,020? Read the problem with me. 51 times 20 equals 1,020. I'll walk you through those steps for that final one there. Since we're dealing with 5 tens, we're going to place a 0 here. And we're going to go ahead and multiply 86 times 5. Oftentimes I do like to write it out right here. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 3 is 43. 430. I think a common mistake here is to have written just 430 without placing that 0 there. Alright, 2 last problems and I'll send you on your way. You'll notice now I've written them vertically. This will help us later on. Taking a look at this here. 37 times 40. Oh, hey, this is the same type of problem. Since we're talking about 4 tens, this 4 right here is worth 40. Oh, I better place this 0. Later on, I'll be calling this the magic 0. At that point, we continue on, and we go step by step. 37 times 4. Because we're talking about the 4 tens already. 4 times 7 is 28. 8, regroup the 2. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. So we have 1,480. Try this last one on your own. Copy it down, please. You'll notice that there's 3 digits instead of 2 digits, so don't let that confuse you. And remember that you're dealing with 2 tens. You're dealing with 2 tens there. Hit pause. You notice I had to switch up colors because I hit undo and it took away everything. 162 times 20. Alright, I'm dealing with 20. I have to place that magic 0. Because we're dealing with 2, which is in the tens place, that 2 is worth 20. Now we just take 162 times 2. We go step by step. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6 is 12. 2. Regroup the 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. And I always like to place my commas. Read the whole problem with me. 162 times 20 is 3,240. And now you're on your way to being able to multiply with larger numbers. The only other thing I didn't say along the way, and maybe you already know these, but both of these are called what? Factors. And the answer to a multiplication problem is called the product. Bye for now.